Welcome to Motor Masters, your go-to channel for powerful machines, legendary engineering, and the beasts that change the world of warfare and transport. Today, we're rolling back in time to explore a tank that played a critical role in the early years of World War II, the Soviet KV-1. The KV-1 tank, named after Soviet Defense Commissar Kliment Voroshilov, was a heavy tank that sent shockwaves through German lines during Operation Barbarossa in 1941. When the Germans invaded the Soviet Union, they were confident that their Panzer divisions would cut through Soviet forces with ease. But then came the KV-1, a rolling fortress that proved incredibly hard to stop. What made the KV-1 so special? First and foremost, its armor. At the time of its debut, the KV-1 was practically invincible to most German anti-tank weapons. Its frontal armor was up to 75 mm thick, while the sides and rear were similarly well protected. In 1940 and 1941, this was unmatched. German Panzer III and IV tanks, and even many anti-tank guns, were simply not powerful enough to penetrate the KV-1's heavy armor. There are even battlefield reports of single KV-1 tanks holding off entire German battalions, stalling offensives while reinforcements were brought in. One famous story tells of a KV-1 blocking a crossroads for hours, withstanding dozens of hits and disabling multiple enemy vehicles before finally being overcome. That kind of battlefield resilience earned the KV-1 a legendary status. The KV-1 wasn't just a fortress, it had firepower to match. Armed with a 76.2 mm F-32 or later F-34 gun, the KV-1 could take on enemy tanks, bunkers, and fortified positions with devastating effect. It also featured several 7.62 mm DT machine guns for close-in defense against infantry. With a capable main gun and a heavy defensive profile, it was a formidable all-around vehicle. Under the hood, the KV-1 was powered by a V2K 12-cylinder diesel engine, delivering about 600 horsepower. While that might sound decent, the tank's weight, often more than 45 tons, meant it was underpowered for its size. As a result, the KV-1 was not the most mobile tank on the battlefield. It had a top road speed of around 22 miles per hour, 35 kilometers per hour, and considerably less off-road. Maneuverability was limited, especially in muddy or rough terrain, which often challenged Soviet logistics and tactics. Mechanical reliability was another issue. The transmission system was prone to failure, and the tank's sheer weight often put excessive strain on components. Repairs in the field could be difficult, especially when spare parts were scarce or supply lines were thin. These mechanical drawbacks, along with the tank's sluggish speed, would later lead to its gradual replacement. Despite these flaws, the KV-1 had a massive psychological effect on the battlefield. German forces were stunned to find that their standard anti-tank weapons were useless against it. In some engagements, the only way to destroy a KV-1 was with direct hits from artillery, or by sneaking engineers up close to plant explosives. That kind of resilience gave Soviet troops a significant morale boost in the dark early days of the German invasion. Several variants of the KV-1 were developed throughout the war. The original KV-1 model was eventually followed by the KV-1E, which added even more armor, and the KV-1S, which was a lighter, faster version designed to address mobility issues. The KV-1S sacrificed some armor for speed, and it had a redesigned turret, improving performance but reducing protection. Even so, it proved to be a better fit for the evolving demands of warfare on the Eastern Front. By 1943, the KV-1 was beginning to show its age. German tank technology had advanced, and newer models like the Tiger and Panther began appearing with more powerful guns capable of penetrating the KV-1's armor. At the same time, the Soviet Union began to shift production toward the more versatile and cost-effective T-34 medium tank, which offered better speed and ease of production while still delivering solid firepower. Despite this, the legacy of the KV-1 remained significant. It was one of the earliest true heavy tanks to see extensive combat in World War II, and it proved that armor could make a difference when deployed effectively. It forced the Germans to rethink their anti-tank strategies and influenced the design of future Soviet heavy tanks, including the KV-2 in a series. Today, the KV-1 lives on in museums and collections, a symbol of Soviet resilience and industrial might. Its role in buying precious time for the Soviet Union during the opening months of Operation Barbarossa cannot be understated. Without tanks like the KV-1, the Red Army's ability to hold off the German advance could have been severely compromised. For tank enthusiasts, the KV-1 is more than just steel and gears, it's a reminder of the raw, rugged power of early war machines, and how engineering, bravery, and a bit of brute force can shift the course of history. Thanks for watching Motor Masters, where machines come to life. If you enjoyed this journey into the past with the mighty KV-1, make sure to hit that like button, drop your thoughts or favorite tank in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dives into legendary machines every week. Stay tuned, and keep the engines roaring.